We live yet? All right, we are live. All right. Welcome back to the WMMA Scene Report, our weekly live show where we go over the latest fight results, the latest news in women's mixed martial arts, rankings updates. We have a lot to go talk about tonight. Well, not so much tonight. This is actually going to be a relatively short show tonight. No discussion topic tonight. I've got too much to work on. It's Invicta FC 36 fight week. So there's a 35, 36, whatever. It's fight week. So looking forward to that. I'm working on a full preview video for that, separate from the show. And then UFC Uruguay, which has been a shit show from the beginning, is this weekend. So let's get started. Let's start with the usual work on results. So first up, Friday morning was one championship dawn of heroes. Only one ladies fight, but it was pretty good. At 125 pounds, Ayaka Miura defeated Samara Santos via submission due to Americana at 39 seconds of round 2. I did a review on this one. You don't have to go check it out though. Miura is relentless in going forward and getting that Haragoshi toss. She got it in the second round, got Miura down into the headlock, Santos into the headlock, and got that arm and, just bent it back in a key lock using her legs. It was really cool to see. I've seen usually when you see the scarf hold like that, you usually see like a straight arm bar, but Miura is a specialist with the key lock from there. It was pretty cool to see. Next up, LFA 73 had a flyweight fight. Haley Cowan defeated Jessica Middleton via unanimous decision. Cowan climbed to 4-1. Middleton fell to 5-6. I don't have a way to watch LFA, so I can't really comment on that, on the fight. Then Combate America's main event at 130-pound catchweight, Reina Cordoba defeated Zoila Frausto via first-round submission. So same day, another scarf hold used to submit an opponent. Zoila was coming forward, working her striking, throwing very hard hands. Cordoba was driven back almost every time Frausto threw the strikes, but eventually Cordoba was able to. Cordoba went for a takedown, didn't get the takedown, but had driven Frausto up against the fence. Cordoba then tossed her with the Haragoshi again, got her down, and went for the straight arm bar and elicited the tap in the first round. Cordoba improved to 10-1. Frausto fell to 14-6. So 2 scarf hold submissions in a little over 12 hours. That was pretty cool to see. Next up, Saturday, UFC on ESPN5, Covington versus Lawler. Couple of ladies fights on here. First one was Miranda Granger versus Hannah Goldie at 125 pounds. Granger defeated Goldie due to unanimous decision. Granger improved to 7-0. Goldie fell to 5-1. I'll admit I haven't watched this fight yet. From what I understand, I haven't missed much. So we'll keep going. Next up, Lauren Murphy defeated Mara Romero Barella via TKO due to knee and punches at 1 minute and 46 seconds of round 3. Murphy with probably a come from behind win there. Barella was actually, I had Barella ahead on the scorecards, and then Murphy with the nice, that very nice knee. Don't know what else to say about that. And then also at flyweight, Antonina Shevchenko defeated Lucia Pudilova via submission due to rear naked choke. 1 minute and 20 seconds, round 2 of 3. So Pudilova was getting pieced up on the feet, and then she decided to clinch with Shevchenko for whatever reason. She did get Shevchenko down in the first, but then almost got submitted due to armbar. Second round, she went for the clinch to tie up for the takedown again. Didn't quite get the takedown because Shevchenko went around her back and got that rear naked choke and really choked her out. Pudilova was just so sloppy with everything she was doing. Really made it easy for Shevchenko. Tuesday morning, One Warrior Series 7. Let's see. First up at 115 pounds, Uyen Ha defeated Neha Kashyap via TKO in the second round. Uyen Ha improved to 2-0. Kashyap fell to 1-2. Very nice ground and pound from Uyen Ha in that fight. Brutal ground and pound. And then Caitlin McEwen defeated Jenny Lynn Olsen via, I believe it was first round armbar. That's at 125 pounds. McEwen improved to 5-1. Olsen fell to 3-2. Damn, very fast work by Caitlin McEwen with the submission there. Good work for her. And then Tuesday night, we had Dana White Contender Series. Lucrezia Rhea defeated Marilia Santos via split decision at 125 pounds. Rhea climbed to 8-2. Santos fell to 10-3. Okay, to me, neither of these two ladies displayed UFC caliber, even for the flyweight division. Rhea definitely did not deserve to win that fight. I had Santos up, at least. I mean, that's my opinion. If you had Rhea up, okay. But Santos finished every round strong. Rhea was tired after the first round. She'd never gone past the first round. I just did not agree with the decision there. All right, so that's this past weekend. Let's move on to the news. We're going to keep the show flowing along here. Okay, at flyweight, Priscilla Cachoeira, 8-3 versus Ariana Lipski, 11-5, has been set for UFC Fight Night Sao Paulo, 16 November. Gotta think this is a loser leaves town match. Lipski is 0-2 in the UFC. Cachoeira is like 0-3. I can't see either of them sticking around past. Definitely can't see the loser sticking around past this fight. And even a winner is still going to be on shaky ground. Next up, after Luana Carolina was forced to pull out of the fight against Wu Yan'an due to spinal injury, UFC has tapped longtime Invicta vet Mizuki Inoue, better known by his stage name just Mizuki, 13-5, to face Yan'an Wu, 10-2 at UFC Fight Night Shenzhen, 31st August. And that's going to be at flyweight. I'm so excited. Mizuki finally in the UFC, probably past due, but I can't really blame him for not taking her, though. It seems like every time she is on the cusp of reaching the UFC level, something pushes her back. The most recent one being that she missed weight by like a lot for the and posted behind me, the Invicta Phoenix Rising Series 1. Missed weight so much she wasn't allowed to compete. Just an example. But you know what? Mizuki's finally in the UFC, and I'm excited. Next up, at atomweight, after Anastasia Nikolakakis was forced to withdraw due to injury, Invicta has brought in Katie Saul, 3-3, to face Elise Anderson at Invicta 36-9 August. So that's this weekend. Unfortunately, Anastasia Nikolakakis and the Animal got hurt. I'm not sure what the nature of the injury was, but they brought in King of the Cage vet Saul to face Elise Anderson. So good for Invicta to find a fairly late notice replacement. Okay, next up, 21-year-old UFC veteran Chanmi John, 5-3, announced her retirement from pro MMA via her Instagram Saturday, citing financial reasons. So I happened to notice her Instagram post, and I used the Instagram's built-in translator on the app. And that's basically what I was getting, was that she didn't have She was like basically out of money. Um, UFC brought her in as a late replacement against who was it, JJ Aldrich, for the Singapore card last year or the year before. She was 19. She was 5-0, but really she was really unproven at the time. Brought in, she lost her 2 fights there. Suffered a bad ankle break and was out for a while. Came back, fought at Zeus FC2 in Korea at flyweight, missed weight there, and lost to Shizuka Sugiyama. But I guess she changed camps after getting cut from the UFC. She went from I forget, it was Daewon Kim's gym. Went from Seoul to Busan to train with Team Mad. Unfortunately, we never really got to see the results of what she could bring after moving to Team Mad. And I guess that move, coupled with only getting like 1 good fight after that, just really was a strain on her financially. So she's going to try to move on to bigger and better things. So, I don't blame her. MMA, unless you're fighting in the top organizations and they're paying you good, which is basically the UFC, and even then, unless you're at least in the middling ranks, it's just not worth it. The money's not there. I don't blame a fighter that says, hey, I'm young and broke, I'm going to move on. I can't get mad at her. Some people one guy on Sherdog questioned her heart and determination. I told him what for. I said, you're a scumbag. Because, who is he to question anyone like that, So wish Chammy John good luck in the future. Hopefully she'll come back. She'll, get some money and be able to come back, even if it's only part-time. Moving along. So Pancrase, I believe I mentioned before that they were going to do a strawweight tournament. It's like a mini Grand Prix. It's 4-person. The first round is set for 29th September at Shinkiba Studio Coast in Tokyo. So they finally named the full semifinals for that. Okay, first up, it's going to be Emi Fujino, 23-11, versus Brazilian Edna Oliveira, 7-6-1. And then in the second semifinal match is going to be Nori Date, 3-3, versus Korean Hyunji Jan, 3-2. So that's going to be on UFC Fight Pass. That's 29th September. That's like early Sunday morning. Like, I think there's a UFC event on that night. So if you want to watch it, you can stay up late. Really, to me, this seems like they're setting up Emi Fujino to be the Queen of Pancrase. Because, I mean, I don't know anything about Edna Oliveira, but she's barely above 500. Nori Date is a typical Team Date girl. She's probably has the best record there, which is not to say much because she's at a 500, 3-3. Hyunji Jan is young and fairly inexperienced. So it's basically Emi Fujino's to lose at this point. At strawweight, you have Invicta vet Magdalena Sormova, 9-1, will defend her WWFC strawweight title against Svetlana Gotzik at WWFC 15 in Kiev, 21 September. It's a rematch of their title fight in June 2018, where Sormova captured the title via first-round armbar. So if you don't remember who Sormova is, she defeated Kay Hansen via unanimous decision at Invicta Phoenix Rising Series 1. Moving along, at bantamweight, 135 pounds, a rematch between Holly Holm and Raquel Pennington has been announced for UFC 243 in Australia. I believe that's going to be the co-main event of that. The headline is Whitaker versus Adesanya for the middleweight title. I don't really know what to say about this fight. The first fight was boring and uneventful, and I don't see it being much different this way. I think Holm takes it again, but I don't know. And then finally, Bellator flyweight prospect Valerie Lareda, 2-0, announced via Twitter that she has been cast for, is either Twitter or Instagram, that she has been cast for reality show Exatlan Estados Unidos, which is going to premiere this month on the 19th of August. So this is a reality show. I believe it has like a lot of athletics and stuff in it. Jorge Masvidal and who was it? Yoel Romero, her two ATT teammates, have both been on that show. And so depending on how long she lasts, Loretta could be out for a couple weeks to several months. So she said that for now, MMA is on hold. So good luck to Valerie Loretta on the show. All right, next up, one of my favorite segments. I like to call it the fuckery. It is the latest updates in the UFC rankings. So you go to UFC.com, click on rankings, go down to the bottom row for the ladies. And it is exactly the same as last week. They didn't even update the changes made last week, even though it says last updated Monday, August 5th. There is not a single change at all. In fact, the changes made to the flyweight division last week are still the same. Like they left the arrows up and everything. Meanwhile, Alexis Davis is being shown move up from 8 to 7. She just got beat up by Viviane Araújo, was it a week ago? Still hasn't moved up. Araújo is still on the bantamweight rankings at number 15, and Jillian Robertson, with 4 wins in the division, is still unranked. No changes to strawweight. There haven't been any strawweight fights in a while. It feels like forever. And no changes to bantamweight at all either. So that's it for the fuckery. I mean, the weekly UFC rankings update. Next up, a little segment I like to call Welcome to the Scene, where we welcome the latest named subscribers. This week it is OVO X Nightmares. So welcome to the scene, OVO Nightmares. And then finally, we're going to go over the upcoming fights for this weekend. So there's Invicta 36. Just going to go over the fights real quick. As far as what's listed, I'm going to work on my preview for this as soon as I'm done with this. Bantamweight. Megan Colley 0-0 versus Julia Adelino, also making her debut. Next up, also at bantamweight, Erin Harp 1-0 versus debutante Autumn Norton. Next up at flyweight, Chantel Coates 1-0 versus Caitlin Salmons 1-0. Next up at atomweight, Elise Anderson 4-1 taking on the late notice replacement I mentioned earlier, Katie Saul 3-3. Next up, we have a battle of 2 finishers at flyweight. Stephanie Geltmacher, 4-0 versus Victoria Leonardo, 5-1. After that, we're going back to atomweight again. Jessica Del Boni, 8-1 versus Invicta and Bellator vet Lindsay Van Zant, 6-1. Next up at strawweight, co-main event, Janessa Morandin coming in at 10-2, taking on a former Bellator flyweight title challenger, Emily Ducote, 7-5. And then finally, in the main event, featherweight title fight, Pam Bam Sorensen, 7-3, taking on the striking Viking, Caitlin Young, 10-9-1. Let's see what we got over here in the chat. It's going to let me see it. There we go. Unfortunately, I can't actually see what's going on in the chat this week for some reason. Don't know. That's weird. Sorry. Got PCBH and Johnny C. Fortunately, guys, I can't see what you're saying in chat this weekend. I'm not sure what's up with the browser this week. Usually it lets me see everything. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, after Invicta, Saturday, UFC on ESPN Plus 14, a.k.a. UFC Fight Night Montevideo, a.k.a. UFC Uruguay. Apparently, I would normally say Uruguay, but apparently it's Uruguay, according to Luke Thomas. First up, at 125 pounds, Poliana Viana coming in late notice, 10-3, taking on Veronica Macedo, 5-3-1. So picks time. I'm taking Viana. Because I'll tell you why. Macedo has been bouncing around from camp to camp pretty much since she's been in the UFC because of her she can't get refugee status even though she's from Venezuela. She can't go back there, or feels like she can't go back there. That country's in the shambles, but she's having a hard time. I think she is finally landed in France now. I think last time I checked, but I'm not really sure. But anyway, I just think Viana is going to be a bigger, stronger fighter. And even on late notice, I think she's going to beat Macedo. And this is probably Macedo's last hurrah in the UFC. Next up, Tecia Torres taking on Marina Rodriguez in strawweight. First strawweight fight in a while. At least what it seems like. Torres coming in 10-4. Rodriguez 11-0-1. So looking at this, I got to think, yeah. Rodriguez has a big height advantage, 5'6" to 5'1", and 4-inch reach advantage, 65 to 61. This is going to go to Torres, man. She's 0-3 her last 3. For Torres, she's got to be really aggressive in this fight. She's got to be the bully. If she can't bully fighters, she has a hard time with them. That said, I'm still going to go with Torres based on experience and experience against many more higher level opponents. So we'll take Torres there by unanimous decision, of course, because Torres just doesn't finish fights. And then finally, is it only 3? Yes, finally, Valentina Shevchenko versus Liz Carmouche in the main event for the flyweight title fight. So I titled this, Does Liz Carmouche Stand a Chance? I'm going to be straight up honest, guys. I don't think Liz Carmouche stands a chance at all. Her only chance is to get this fight to the ground and work for submissions. But Carmouche isn't really a finisher. She's not going to beat Shevchenko on the feet. So she's got to get in close for the takedowns, which leaves her open to abuse in the pocket and in the clinch. Then she's got to actually get Shevchenko down, which isn't very easy. She's got to get her down. She's got to stay on top, and she's got to watch out for submissions herself, because Shevchenko has very underrated submission game. She beat Juliana Pena by submission. I just don't see Carmouche being able to get her down and get to submission, and she's going to have to do that every round that she doesn't finish, which means it's going to get harder and harder for her as the fight goes on. Carmouche cuts a lot of weight to get to 125. I mean, she looks freaking shredded and drained at the weigh-ins. I just don't see Carmouche having a chance at all. I'm going with Valentina Shevchenko. Pick a method however you want. And then finally, Tuesday, Dana White's Contender Series, Week 8 at bantamweight, 135 pounds. Shanna Young, 6-1, taking on Sarah Alpar, 8-4. So I'm going with Alpar in this, and I'll tell you why. You look at Shanna Young's record. She's 6-1. But look at who those wins are against. 0-1, 1-1, 2-0, 2-0. That last one's against Pam Sorensen back in 2016. Doesn't fight at all, 2017. And then lone fight in 2018. is her lone loss to Lisa Spangler at Invicta 31 in September. Okay, no shame in losing to Lisa Spangler, but look at her record since then. 2019, she's had 2 fights already against Jessica Borga, 1-1, versus, and then against Anastasia Bruce, making her debut. And Anastasia Bruce was like 0-12 as an amateur. Okay, Bellator tried to get her to fight Valerie Loretta, and the Mohegan Sun said no way. Okay, compare that to Sarah Alpar's record. Sarah Alpar is 8-4. Now her losses are to not necessarily great fighters. Heather Clark back in 2011, no shame there. Because Heather Jo Clark was pretty damn good back then. Brenda Gonzalez 2-0. I'm not sure if that's. Is it Brenda Gonzalez that's fought in Combate? No, but she has fought in King of the Cage. Gonzalez was 2-0 at the time. Delaney Owen, that's not a good one. Owen was making her debut. That's in 2014. Get some wins in 2015. Her last loss was against Karina Dahm in 2016, who was 22-12. There's no shame to losing to Karina Dahm. But look at her wins since then. She has a win over Jocelyn Liebarger, who made it to the UFC. Susie Watson 3-2. Jamie Jones 5-1. That's in 2015. Her last 2 wins have come in 2017 against Pamela Aguirre, who was 5-1. And then Jocelyn Edwards, 8-1 in LFA last year in November. Hasn't fought this year. But you know what, guys? I'm still going with Alpar based on the better overall record. She's beaten people with winning records. And her losses are to mostly decent opponents, or decent for her record at the time. So I'm going to go with Alpar. All right, guys, that's it for this week. Surprised I made it 27 minutes. Didn't expect to even go that long. Thanks for watching. And what are you waiting for? If you haven't yet, subscribe to WMAC Now, the best, fastest growing women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. If you can't tell, my eyes are bloodshot. I'm going to rest my eyes for a little bit, maybe take a short nap, and then get to work on Invicta preview and a couple review fights for this. For, what was it, One Warrior Series and Dana White's Contender Series. So we'll catch you later, guys. And we'll see you Friday night. I'm going to do a live fight companion for Invicta 36. So we'll see you there, 8 p.m. Eastern time. See you there.